Adam, should we start with Josh? Is he any clearer idea of whether he'll play?
Yeah, he won't play this week. Yeah, so we're all going to try and get him up and give him every chance, but there's just a tiny little hairline fracture in the side of his leg, and I don't think it's a significant injury, but it's probably enough to keep him out this week. So we'll see how long he's out for, but I don't think it's a long-term issue at all.
Okay, but it's not surgery or not?
No, his knee's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, he did it late in the quarter, come back on, so we just wanted to let everything settle before we made a decision on it. But yeah, he's not going to come up for this week, so we've got to get on with life without JK or Jack Darling.
Whereabouts on the leg is the fracture?
Actually, it's a good question. Near the knee.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really delve into the medical part. I let them do their job, and yeah, I won't go into too much detail. I always get it wrong.
As a guess, how many weeks do you think?
I'm not sure. It'll be between 1 and 3, I suppose. That's making it up, but we'll see how he pulls up. He might be right for next week, so it's that small. The leg still hasn't settled down from the weekend, so that's the reason why we really were making him unavailable. But we've got to let everything heal, so we'll see how he goes next week. And
do you remember what leg it was?
doesn't matter.
Oh, that's when right.
Okay, well let's say it's the right leg. In fact, it is the right leg, because when he came back on, he struggled to connect. He had a free kick late in the game, and he missed a goal he would normally kick. And I was a bit critical at the time, but I didn't know the injury he was carrying. So there's reasons for that.
No Jack or Josh.
No.
How do you structure up before the line?
Well, I'll have to find a way, won't we? It's been a long time. I think someone mentioned 2011 might be the last time we didn't have one of them. So I mean, every club goes through injuries. It's our turn at the moment. It's that combined with some real youth in our front half. It's going to be a challenge for us, but you know, we had a team meeting this morning, and we're really excited about the guys we've got playing there, and we've got to find a different way to score and maintain the pressure and play their roles and all those things. But replacing Kennedy and Darling it's difficult, but we've got to find a way.
So who comes in for Josh then?
Well, we're not going to declare that now, are we? I mean, otherwise there's no point releasing teams tonight, so you'll have to wait till then.
Is Fraser the likely inclusion?
Oh, you'll find out in a few hours. All right.
Does Gov go forward then? Is that an option? I mean, obviously with Tommy out, it makes it a bit...
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think we've probably neglected what's going on down back a tiny bit too. I mean, Barash has been unavailable, Mackenzie's unavailable, and Schofield was unavailable last week. So our tall department, you know, we haven't got a lot of injuries, but they're all over 190. So what's been a real strength of ours this year has been depleted a little bit, but we're not complaining. It's part of the game. It's part of the marathon we're in, and it's our turn to cop some injuries.
Might you have to ramp up Nick's minutes potentially in the middle and send Scott forward a bit more this week, you think?
Yeah, we'll look at all those options. We've got to be pretty creative with what we do, and whether we bring in a Fraser or we play McGovern forward, or Scott and Nick play more time forward. We're looking at all those things. So, I mean, that's what's probably going to give us a bit of unpredictability. The one thing you probably could say about our front half is with JK there and Darling, it was pretty predictable, but it was a good predictable. So we're just got to find a different way, and we'll explore all those things, but we're really trying to maintain the same things that we've been doing with the role-driven players we've got.
Maybe it wouldn't be the worst result if it's wet tonight.
Oh, yes and no. I still think, you know, just because we've lost a couple of soldiers, we change how we move the ball or what we're trying to do. I don't think really good sides do that. So we're hoping to be a good side this year, and for the most part we've played a pretty similar brand most weeks regardless of personnel, and we don't see any different this week.
Is it likely to mean another opportunity for Jared Brander?
Yeah, we're looking at all those things, yeah, and like I said, you'll find out in a few hours, but you know, those things are, he had a tough day on Friday night against probably the best defence in the comp, so we'll work through all those scenarios, but you know, stacking our side with forwards is probably not what we're talking about. It's just playing the roles that we've designated at the start of the year.
Where's Schofield? Is he at my ignorance, the baby?
Yeah, he's had a baby. Yep. So that's little baby boy or big baby boy. So he's another one. He's available this week, so that's important for us. So we'll look at perhaps bringing him back in with a smaller defence last week. I thought they held up pretty well, but when McGovern was forced to go off the ground with his rotations, we looked pretty small. But yeah, we got it done. We thought for the most part last week was more about our front half and how we couldn't convert and we couldn't score off our supply. So our back half was pretty good last week.
There was a bit of criticism earlier in the week about that, but you were a bit hamstrung. McGovern's got to get a rest at some stage. They were saying that when McGovern came off, that's when Frank got a couple of goals.
So don't take go off, just leave him on.
Well, yeah, can he play a full game, or is that too much to ask?
It's not. That's not something I would have thought he could punch out full games. I mean, I think the last quarter we tried to keep him out there a bit longer, but that's not always the answer. As much as you'd love to play every player on the ground the whole game, Gov's probably not built that way, and he needs a spell like most of our players do at stages, and Franklin doesn't. So he pretty much plays every minute. So that's what happened.
The body of work for Schofield, has he done enough coming off the nearly a month out and then the game on the weekend? Yeah,
it's something you look at, isn't it? The form versus the role that we need. So ideally we like the player to come in with the form and the ability to play the role at East Perth has been handled. But look, he's an experienced campaigner, Scully, so if he comes in, I'm fully expecting him to play his role. His form at East Perth up until he hurt his hamstring was really solid. So, if he plays, I'm expecting him to play his part.
Without declaring him either way, can you talk us through someone like Oscar Allen, like what he's...
Oscar, yeah, we took Oscar to Sydney for a bit for the experience, and also if we thought that the Sydney side that they selected warranted another tall. He's not far off being ready for AFL, but a bit like Brander and Petruccelli and some of these first years, they're 18, 19 years old, so when they do play, they're in the deep end. And what we are seeing with all of our kids is AFL qualities at East Perth, just not consistently. So there's little signs that we really like. He's coming off a limited pre-season. He didn't do anything up until round 6. So he's a bit behind the other boys, but there's some qualities there that we like. And, young Josh Rotham's another one who we think's developing quite nicely at East Perth.
What sort of player do you think Rotham is similar? Where's sort of in between sizes, like third tall defender maybe, or running halfback? Yeah,
a bit of a hybrid defender that can do the talls and smalls. So the bigger he gets, the more capable he is of playing on the bigger players. So he's got speed and he's got pretty good endurance as well. So it's just great that he's now in the conversation at match committee, that someone like Roth who's in his second year, that can be available for us as well.
Just to cover all bases, Vardy, is there any thought of Vardy coming in as your second ruck and Lycett could play more forward or full forward? Yeah,
you sit down for a couple of hours, you can come up with a lot of scenarios and that's what we've been doing the last few days, and Vardy's been in that conversation as well as Gov, as well as Fraser and Brander and all those guys. So we've come up with something that we're happy with. Needs to be pretty flexible, and you'll find out in a few hours.
Can I just ask you on the surface at the stadium? Are you happy with how it's come up after you had a bit of a break off it, and is it a better surface to play on now than it was at the start? Yeah, look, we were concerned about the hardness earlier in the year, and I think that the stadium's worked really, really hard to get it. I know it met the range, the AFL requirements, but there was no doubt we thought it was our boys were pulling up a bit sore playing on Optus, but we're really pleased with the work they've done on the ground. And it's a credit to the curators and what they're trying to do, because we think it's improved significantly. So, it was always going to happen with the teething problems with the new stadium, and the fact that they acknowledged and worked on it was really pleasing for us. And we don't like to complain or be whingers, but when it's our player safety, we've got to express our feelings. So, we think they've done a good job.
And is Josh's impact injury that happened in
I think it was just a collision, it was a collision injury, so no twist or turning. So, it was a massive corky, really, and there just happens to be a tiny little hairline fracture in the bone on the side of the leg. What's that called?
Bone.
Yeah, I didn't want to get it wrong.
Is it fibula or tibia?
Tibia. Fibular's the small one. So you think the hairline fracture occurred from that cork?
Yeah, it was just a knock. Yeah, so we're hoping to dodge it, but there's just something very small there.
Can you tell us about the Bombers, and they seem to have restored their season? Is that a change in game plan or a change in attitude? How have you seen it? A
little bit. There's a few things that we see that they're doing a little bit differently. They've had 2 wins interstate in the last 4 weeks. The Giants and Brisbane. They've got a pretty aggressive brand with their pressure, especially when they get in the front half, and they're dangerous. So, I'm sure that they're coming over here for a big challenge. That what they've done in the last month, has been, their pressure in particular has been, top 1 or 2 in the comp. So we've got to find a way to absorb that and bring the pressure back.
Who becomes the leader in your forward line now?
Well, Lacroix's been around for a while. We think he's not just a small crumbing forward. Mark, he can play in all areas. So we were leaning on him for his leadership, and he's been sensational this year with the kids and helped driving the standard of that front half. And there's not too many guys with much experience. I think on the weekend, Brander first game, Ryan 4th game, Waterman 11th game, Willie 10th game. So you combine all that with a couple of senior players out, that's where the youth is, but that's also really exciting for us. So in a strange way, we're excited by what we get a glimpse of the future this weekend.
Are you vulnerable? Do you think you're vulnerable without your two big forwards?
I think you're always, every week you're vulnerable, but look, it's been really simple for us this year. We're just looking to play a brand that stands up. Doesn't matter who we play on our side. And look, if you don't win because you get outplayed and you still play the way you want to play and you play with good spirit, then you can move on pretty quickly and keep developing and training the instinct that we want to give our players. So, yeah, when we want to win every week, we want to play a really good, solid brand, and it'd be great to have our significant tall forwards there, but they're not there this week, and we still think we can win without them. Sorry.